Probably when I purchased this back in 1962 for my first vehicle, um, which, and anything that runs I like. Doesn't make any difference. Chainsaw, snowmobile, car, truck, tractor. So I've just been fascinated by gasoline engines, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So
So this was the car that started it all.
yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Well, and when I was going to high school, one of my buddies said something about you were looking for a truck, and I said yeah, and he said my dad's landlord has an old truck, so um, you may want to go take a look at that. And I asked him how much. He said $75. So my dad and I went into town and found this truck for $75, which was pink at the time, and we drove it home. And I took my driver's license in it and drove it for a couple years, and it was my main mode of transportation until I purchased a '55 Chevy.
So you upgraded.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And that one now is in Mulberry.
yes.
Okay. Revitalized or.
Well, it's just sitting. It's the next project.
Okay. Um. So you started, I guess, at about age 16.
Yes.
With all this. Okay. Um. What goes into restoring a classic car, time-wise and money-wise?
It can be very time consuming. I've restored a few vehicles and I get burnt out pretty easy, so I just do whatever I want whenever I want. I don't get in a big hurry. The Corvette took me 5 years. This I've been on about 2 years, probably another year and a half, 2 years. It should be up and running. They're never complete. You can always add something or do something to them. So um, time-wise, probably 4 to 5 years for me to do one. But when you take it apart, you take it apart completely. There's every piece is taken apart and cleaned or replaced or repaired and then reassembled. In this case, nothing is really standard. Very few pieces are standard, so everything has to be custom made. Uh, the bed is pretty well stocked. The cab and everything will look stock from the outside, but the inside won't be original. What they call a hot rod or street rod or whatever.
Yeah. So money-wise, how much are you looking at?
Uh, More than $75. We're probably talking around $20,000 or so.
Okay. But it's over the course of a couple of years.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is really a hobby, or how would you describe?
Probably a hobby. Yeah.
But a kind of love for the car.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. What's your dream car?
These are them.
Nothing more.
Yeah. My dream was always to have a Corvette, and I knew it was kind of, when I was a kid, going through high school and whatever, I thought, okay, $5,000 or $2,000, even $4,000 for a Corvette was completely out of the question. And I remember going to the Chevy dealer, and the base price, clear up until the mid '70s, was $5,200. You could get a base price Corvette, and I thought, okay, I can save that much up. In fact, I even took out a life insurance policy for $5,200 or $5,000, and I thought, when I'm 65, I'm going to buy a Corvette. Well, guess what? That wouldn't even buy a tenth of a new Corvette.
Brand new one. But so the Corvette's maybe the favorite, the crown jewel of the collection.
Yeah, in a way, but the trucks, once I get it done, it'll be pretty high up there in priority since it was my first vehicle. A lot of fond memories. Used to go out I worked for my uncle up at Francisville, so I would drive my truck all the way up to Francisville, work for him on the farm and stuff, then drive it home on the weekend, and then go get a couple buddies, and we'd go out and get 4 or 5 girls and load up the truck with girls and guys and just drive around between Lafayette and Buck Creek and Monitor and come back home and drop them off.
So you just load everybody up into the back?
Yeah, you could put 4 or 5 people in the back, no problem.
Totally safe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No seat belts or nothing.
Um, why is dancing the streets kind of enjoyable?
Oh, you see the old cars, and the, it just brings a lot of nostalgia back, and a lot of really good memories. And you meet people that have old cars and some of your same interests. So that's kind of why I go to car shows, and that's one of the highlights: dancing in the streets, car show, and the parade and all, the whole deal.
So it's really fun to have an event like that locally.
Yeah, yeah. I go to some of them a little further away, but the local ones are really more convenient. And if it's going to be a rainy day, then I have the option of taking off and finding out which vehicle I want to take. So that's not very good for rainy or damp weather.
No.
This will be when I get done with it. It'll have wipers and stuff. Corvettes leak,
Right.
so
Now, what's some of the things that people have said when they see the Corvette?
most of them, if they're really
Is it kind of weird
uh,
to think about this? I mean, this truck's
know a lot
probably
about it, they
Russia
can
and
pick things
World War
apart on it
II.
because it's not a real show car. It's just a driver. I drive it everywhere I go, but most of them, give you a thumbs up or nice car or whatever. So it gives you a pretty good feeling that you put some effort in something, and other people get to enjoy it too. When I go to a car show, if a little kid comes up, looks in it, which you don't want them scratching or whatever, but I'll open the door and say, hey, do you want to sit in it or whatever, or get behind the wheel? And little kids, I mean, their eyes light up. So
Speaking of, you have 11 grandkids, and I know you have one granddaughter in particular who kind of helps you out.
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how that is being able to share something like that with your grandkids.
Well, it's that's kind of the whole deal. The cars are not ever going to be for sale. They all go to my kids when I have 4 sons. So each one of the cars will go to one of my sons when something happens to me, when I can no longer drive them, and they know which car they get and everything.